So now I'm going to show you how to install V-LEDs V3 Triton in the taillight of your car. And for today, I'm going to be using our left or driver's side rear taillight. And for the 2010s, it has a dual functioning brake light and taillight. Sorry, it was out of the picture, but for ours, and like some other cars, has the brake light do the same thing as a turn signal. So it's a running light, brake light, or it's a lot brighter, and then bright turn signal as well. And so that means it does not have an amber turn signal. But for the 2009s and 11, for some reason they skipped 2010, they had this hole right here functioning as a turn signal. But for our cars, it's just a blank spot. So for other cars, you might have more than one pair. You might have a brake light, say, go in here, then your amber turn signal, amber or red turn signal, whatever you choose, go into your turn signal housing. But since that's not the case in our car, I'm just going to show you how to install one of them. It's going to be the same for the turn signal as well, if you were to have it. But for some reason for 2010 they decided to leave out a turn signal. I don't agree with that choice, because I like having brakes and taillight and turn signals be separate. I don't know, that's personal preference. But anyway, let's begin. You are given a big box full of different parts that you need, like the base for your taillight, like your regular bulb would be. They just plug right in like that, and pretty much you're good to go after there if you just want to go that route. If you have the 7 series taillights, which is 7440, 7443, but this is a 3157 taillight bulb, taillight socket. And to get it to fit right, you're given a collar, 2 of them, because you have 2 bulbs. I just have my other one up there that I'm just not using right now because I'm just showing you guys how to do this. So for my case, I'm going to get a collar, going to just slide it down on there, and it's going to slide around on there until you get the M3 MS machine screws. But you're given 2 different choices, and these are 3mm and these ones are 4mm, just the length. And if you have a 7440 or 7443, you're going to need to use the smaller ones because you're not going to need the collar. But if you need the collar, like on the 1156, 1157, 3156, and 3157, you're going to need to use the 3x4. There's that, and sorry it wasn't focusing in there. They're just a little bit longer, the 4s are, and this is what you're going to need for the type I have. And it shows you all on this sheet of the screws that you're going to need. And so I'm just going to cut this open a little bit. And I know how ours go. You're just going to have to look at your taillight, and you can see I've already kind of installed this before, so I know how it's going to go. But you're given 3 openings, and then there's 3 tabs that they're going to clip into, or like get held into place. So you're going to need to go around on the bulb on this and kind of line up with the holes. It just fell out. I'm trying to focus it in. Okay, there you can see a hole, 2 holes lining up right there. So then you're gonna put in a screw until you can feel it start to thread. And I'm just gonna do a pretty loose one right now. And there you go, there's one. It's pretty much the same all the way around to anywhere you need to go. Some bulbs you're gonna have to put them in different locations, well, honestly, according to your car. You know, I don't see why don't know why it doesn't want to focus on this. There we go. Nope, never mind. It focuses in and it focuses back out. But mine required to be in a triangle formation around it, or skipping one hole. There we go. So you can see there's a screw, and there's a hole, and there's another screw, a hole, another screw, then back to the first. So then it looks like that from the top with the collar. And then if I bring in the tail light, there it is. It should just fit in like it does, and it's catching, except for not too well because I'm not completely done yet. If you read the instructions again, it tells you that you need to get the right type of collar in there. I'm just going to put these screws back in the bag so I don't lose them. So I'm just going to put them out to the side right now. Save some time. Nope, wrong one. I can't remember what gasket I used. What? 32, I think it was a 41, the bigger one. See, this is one I'm going to be using for mine. 41 mil, but they also give you a 32. And it's just, you can see from the back, from the inside, just the thickness of the rubber on the outside. That's really tiny and that's really big. For some reason they give you the 32. I already used one, but yeah, they give me in 2 packs. I used this one for a test. I tried cutting it in half, right down the middle, and it did work. But then I realized I just need one of these 41s, and then I was fine. So here you are, the 41. There we go. So then I'm just gonna put it around, fit it below each of the screws, and there you are. Just like that. And kind of how your stock bulb will have your housing will have a seal right around there. You might, if you want to, if it has a little O-ring type one, get away with taking it off of your stock one and putting on this. It might be fine. But our car doesn't have one that's removable. It's actually always on there. So then pretty much you're done for the fitting, but you might have to go through, you might have to try with 32s and everything. You might have to try, see which one works best. But for this, I'm gonna see if you can see where I'm aligning the screws into the holes where they're at, then turning it like you would your regular bulb. Oh, I actually just missed. Turn it a little bit, and that's what it looks like. It's in there pretty tight. It won't move. And that's what it looks like on the inside of the 2010 Dodge Journey. 2009 would look the same. 2011 they actually went to LED. Afterburner taillights were their circles. That's what it looks like. And then another really cool feature is that you have the ability to focus in the LED bulb. And if you see here, I can screw it in. And what that's doing on the other side, on the inside, is adjusting the length. Now I'm screwing it back out and now screwing it in. It's actually making it go farther in there. You know, pretty straightforward, like how a screw works. But from putting these before in my car, I already know that all the way in is the max brightness that my car has. And I just did that by putting them in, testing them with the turn signals on, and adjusting to see how bright the brights and dims were, and I found that all the way out, I mean all the way in as far as they can go, is where the brightness most was reflecting out and how it was the brightest. I'll show you guys later in the video. Might be a long video. But then once you're done, you have to tighten this back as much as it can go so that those will not change at all on the inside. Because that's one thing you don't want, is having it be loose all in there. So that's that. Then you just connect your socket like this. Then they give you some heat shrink, which you're just gonna, I'll show you. Heat shrink's pretty straightforward. Just gonna show you on one of them. They give you some pretty good heat shrink. Put it on like that, and when you plug it in, then you just heat shrink it. I've got a Bernzomatic butane torch that I'll heat shrink these with later once I'm done testing them out and everything. And you might have to put a current loading system in between the two that I've got. But once I'm done testing, I'll show you guys my final setup. So yep, see you in the next video. Hey everybody, this is going to be part 2 to my installation of the V3 Tritons in our Dodge journey. And so far, in the video, 2 videos before this, I just talked about how you install these inline power systems and the circuit loading system, and I just did a very brief overview. Quite a long video, so you might not have gotten through it. But in the video I told you how V-leds was telling me about how you might need to put this system in line in one of these, and that, and the other system in line with one of these, just regular. So you have one on the front, then one on the back, kind of in not crisscross, kitty corner to each other. So front left bulb's going to have one, then right rear is going to have one. And since that's what the guy told me, that's what I tried. And I got the hyper flashing on both sides. And well, first actually I tried both of them on the front just to see if that did anything, and I found that they were hyper flashing. So then I put the kitty corner like he told me. I put one on the front left and one on the front right, I mean rear right. And same thing, I got hyper flashing, and so then I was stumped. I was pretty confused because I mean I was kind of doubting it in the first place, thinking that he would. Well, the guy told me that you could do that, but I was pretty doubtful, saying that you need to put resistors on all 4 corners usually. So then I just went out on a limb, and since I already tried them both up front, then kitty corner, I didn't try to reverse kitty corner, putting them up and then moving them back, because I don't think that would make much sense, because it would do the same thing. So then I put both of them on the rear like you see here. I've got circuit loading system on both the front and, well, both on the rear, I mean. Yeah, I'm just going to show you one. So this is what I actually came up with. It's how it's installed, the cowler with the spacer, the weather seal pretty much, and the heat. This is, I never said in any of the videos, but these fins are like heat sinks. You know, help dissipate the heat a little bit, quite a bit better. And circuit loading system. So you got the base of the bulb attachment going into the circuit loading system on the left side if you're looking at it from the front, and coming out the right, then into the bulb. And I did that for both and plugged it in, and it worked. No hyper flashing. I tested it for a few minutes, making sure that one, because when I first started it, since ours computer ran turn signals, the computer determines the drop in voltage and everything, and it started off fine, and I was really excited. Then after about 10 seconds, they'd started hyper flashing on both sides, so they would run for about 10 seconds normal pace, but then the computer wouldn't realize, hey, not enough voltage going to one of the bulbs, so then it would start blinking really fast. Like your car does to tell you that you got a burnt out bulb. So got this done, worked out great. So this is what I'm going to finally come up with. My switchbacks, I've got the, when you get a switchback, all of them are going to come with the dual color LED lighting system box. You've got no choice. It's not, I don't think it's a resistor, I'm not 100% sure, they don't really tell you. And then the white wire which you attach to your headlights, your low beam, if you want the LED to dim by 50% when their low beam's on. That's just up to you. I'm not going to, because I don't know, I don't want to go through the trouble and splice them to the factory wiring. It's just, I don't want to create a mess possibly. So now I just need to find places to mount all this, and since our taillight has barely any space behind the light, it's going to be a real good treat trying to figure out where to put this. I'll show a video of what I finally get done in the end. But I have one problem, like I said in the video before, is that I've got two pairs of reds, right? I've only got one pair and I've got another pair in a car. Well, the problem being is that both of these have the same problem. Both pairs, these ones have the problem, the other one do too. It's kind of a pain thing that you paid so much money for this and you're having a problem. And my problem is, you have them plugged in, and they're supposed to be dual function. Like you've got the low brightness, and then you've got the high brightness for turn signal as well. What's happening to me is I'll turn on the lights, and then turn on the turn signal, and you're supposed to have the dull, then bright flash, then dull light, then bright flash, dull light, then bright flash, like a blinker is supposed to do. And what ended up happening is the dull light wouldn't be on, and only the bright would flash. And so then when you turn the flashers off, only one of them would be lit, and the other one would be off. So it seems like the low-powered set wiring in here is messed up somehow. And when I was picking it up and looking at it, it would randomly turn on and off. So that's led me to the conclusion that for both sets, that they've got a wiring problem somewhere in the low beam, in the low power lighting. I don't know how that would work or what's going on with it, but I'm gonna try capturing a video and I'll link it in here somewhere. That, yeah, just they're not all lighting up for some reason, and it's pretty poor. Like I think that you had to, that we waited so long for these bulbs, paid so much money, and they're crapping out. I already notified V-leds of this, and I first notified them about close to a month ago when I installed the first ones, and I had that problem, but I ended up fixing it by somehow manipulating the wires to a spot where they would work. You know, it's kind of like any power system. Sometimes when you get an old wire, for like usually it happens to me with my cell phone chargers, that after a long time, like about a year, it just won't charge until you have to bend it right, and you know, you might have to tape it in a certain way, zip tie it. That's the same thing. You have to bend the wire. Like, say you're like this, the thing would be out, it wouldn't be working. But you'd have to bend it like that or something. You have to bend the wire just to a certain spot, then it would start to work. And then as soon as it naturally goes back to its original shape, it wouldn't make contact anymore, or something was happening. So I notified them of that, and I'll let you guys know in the description of what they tell me, if they are going to do anything about it. When I first told them with the other bulb, so that I put in after I fixed it, is that they told me I should ship them back, and I thought I fixed it. I thought it was one of these were loose, and so I thought I might have tightened them a little bit or pushed them together better. So after this, it's definitely not that. It's got to be some type of internal problem. So if they do tell me to send them back, I might just do that, put in the regular bulbs for a little bit longer until they get it completely fixed. They're supposed to have a lifetime warranty. Take it for what it's worth. Lifetime to them might mean 3, 4, 5 years. But since these bulbs are supposed to be rated at, I think they say 30,000 hours, lifetime should be the life of the vehicle. So, once I get these installed right and everything, I'll do another video. Thanks. And actually, I might do a short video of me heat shrinking these. You know, it's not really a need to know thing. It's quite basic. You just put the heat shrink tubes over each of these like that and heat shrink it, you know, not too big deal. But that's what I'm going to do right now since I figured out how these need to be wired up. Thanks, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll let you guys know what V-leds tells me about the problem that I've experienced with these so far. Thanks, bye. And here's the setup that I'm currently running in the Journey right now. Sorry for the bad film quality. Only using one hand. But there it's plugged in with the relay going into the bulb socket right there. And what I'm just currently doing is just stuffing it all into the cavity right there. There's not really a place to mount it well, because you got to fit it behind all of this. But, you know, so far it's been working decent. It has hyperflashed twice, two of the last times we've been driving it. And for some reason they say this is supposed to work with all four of them when you only need two. Like I said before, I was kind of skeptical about it. And right now it's kind of proving to be right, skepticism. But after I turn the car off and then use it again, drive it around, the turn signal's on, I leave them on for a few minutes, they won't hyperflash. It's just twice randomly when we've been driving. And if it happens again, I'm definitely going to have to spend 20 more bucks. Well, I'm going to have to notify them, tell them that's not working right, and I hope, I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but that'd be nice to get two of them free, saying that their advertising isn't really holding up to what they claim. But, yep, I'll do a quick shot of them here too with the lights flashing.